So what's up everybody, Tweets here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a revolver. So like every other mod thing you're making, first things first, create your folder in your P drive, which I already did here, and then your data folders, or add a folder to a current folder that if you're making like a whole pack of weapons. And then, convert all your textures over, like I did here. I've showed you in all the other videos before. Set up your RV mats, just like every other time. You got your normal, no HQ, stage 1. Stage 5, your SMDI. This one here, some guns, I like to throw in the AS. So that's stage 4. But it's just like setting up every other RV mat. And then same thing with your damage and destruct RV mats. So that way, in game, if it's damaged or ruined, it shows. The only thing you're going to do is keep stage 3 as what it is already. And that is the vanilla destruct or damage look. So just leave that as it is. And just change your stage 1, 4, 5. You don't have to have 4, but sometimes I throw it in there. Alright, now, after you do all that, you're going to bring up your object builder. And then we will import our model. So now, if you get anything, I've said this before, with animation, untick it, change FPS to 0. I don't know if you have to change the FPS to 0 or not if you untick it, but I'd force a habit. I do it anyways. And then master scale, I always go with 0.01, and then you can adjust the size when it's in. Then I always go to window 4 views. All right, now what I'm going to do is I am going to select the whole model, and then I am going to select all of these. There's an easy way to do it. So what I'm going to do is just click on the top one, go all the way to the last one, hold shift and click, and then don't delete the actual model over here. Just right click over on these selections and delete. Don't delete the whole model. And now that that's done, now I am going to create, now that it's all selected, a new one. I'm just going to call it ZBTech. Now, I am going to get this sized, but first I'm going to apply my texture and RV mat. So hit E, get your face properties, and then find your folder, get your texture, so change that from TGA to PAC and PAA, get your texture, get your RV mat, apply, and OK. Now, I'm going to start my viewer here, Bulldozer. Now that I'm in Bulldozer, I'm going to zoom in with W. So there it is, all textured. Looks good. We don't want the grip to be shiny because that's wooden. So the handle needs to stay. You don't want it shiny if it's wood. Which is perfect. Alright. And you got all the texture details, so that's nice. Alright, now that we have that, I am going to create a proxy. And I am going to use the vanilla Magnum. So that is a revolver. So go to DayZ under your P drive. Go to weapons, pistols, and then Magnum. And then the top one, not the Son one, you want the regular one. Alright. Now click on your ZBTech so it's just your pistol. And now we're going to start sizing it with that. Alright. So get that all sized up, moved into the position. Get in there. You want the trigger to line up. And I could go a little bigger, actually. Alright, that should be big enough. Line up the trigger. I go a little higher. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, that should do it. Alright, now I have that. I am going to delete the proxy of the Magnum. So just select, make sure you only select the proxy. Your gun's not selected, hit delete on your keyboard, and then right click and delete that. Alright. Now center your gun. Get it lined up here so it's center. I'm moving it by holding the left alt and then holding right click, and I am dragging so I can see it centered. Now we want to make sure our model is center. So what I usually do is I go with the sight, get it zoomed in pretty far, and I made sure that it's center, which this one is actually pretty good. Alright, so now once you have that all selected, you got that all centered, now we're going to start naming things. So giving it the selection. So first thing you're going to select is the hammer, and you're going to give it a hidden selection of hammer. Then trigger. So select just the trigger. Do it trigger. Spell it right. There we go. Now, I've made one before, revolvers, so I am going to take that as the ejector. So, if you're familiar with weapons, that is the ejector. The cartridge, that is what you call ejector. So, make sure you just select that. Make sure it's all selected. I don't think the holes are selected. So we're going to make sure that those are all selected. And we're going to do that by looking in the model. Okay, and let's see if yeah, make sure every little piece of it. Okay, now that should just be the ejector. Yep. And now we're going to call that ejector. Make sure the spelling is right. Yep. All right. Now that we have that done, okay, now we are going to start working on the memories. So I'm going to create a new LOD. Properties. Memory. There we go. And now we're going to start getting all that. So first thing, I'm going to get these bounding box, CE center, CE radius, and then you're going to want in view, and then paste it on here. You're going to want to line up. Now, obviously, this is a little bigger than the other revolver. So if you hold left control and left shift and hold right click, you can change the size. this is pretty much all of how it sits on the ground. It sits in your the image in your inventory. In view is the image of your how it looks on your inventory, so you definitely want it a good distance. The closer it is, the more zoomed the image is going to be when you tab in your inventory. Okay, that looks good enough. Now that we have that, we're going to start going in. We're going to get the eye. I always zoom right in, and you want to get the eye kind of a little above the centered and a little above the model, just like that. You don't want it too close, otherwise it's going to be blurry. Now we got that. We're going to start getting the conic halve. So we're going to take conic halve. Now this here is going to be, you want it always centered on every type of gun you make. So you're going to look for the barrel, and then you're going to bring that dead center. It is hard to see the color of in the memory here. And that is not bad. That's pretty good. If you have a hard time seeing it, you could always paste it in your first LOD, get it where you want it, then recopy it, delete it out of here, and then paste it in here, and then that'll work. But I prefer, it's easier just doing it in the memories. So now we got that conic halve. Now remember, you want that dead centered, and usually right here by the bullets, where the bullets go. Same with like on a rifle, you're gonna put it kind of center of the barrel, but lined up with the mag area. Now we're gonna go and take USTI halve. Now, this is gonna go dead center on the end of the barrel. So you want that on the end of the barrel and centered. If they're not centered, if they're off, your gun's not going to be as accurate. The more off it is, the less accurate your gun's going to be when you're firing it. Now that that's done, these are, yeah. So we don't really need a lot of these, but you're going to want these Nobo and jet ends and starts. So that way when you fire your gun, it shows the ejection of the rounds, the shells coming out. Now you want to line these up with the holes of your gun in the revolver. So now we're going to work with that. Get them center hole. You know what? Let's move them forward a little bit. And then if we look at this one here, so it's not quite, oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick little double check because it has been a little while. Oh, I see. Yeah, the front ones are out the front, and then the back ones are... All right. It could be a little tricky, but once you get it, you get it. Pretty sure. It's a good thing to, what I like to do, I like to work from other things, previous ones that I made. It's just easier to copy paste, and if you haven't done something in a while, it's just easier to refresh your memory. It's a little tedious, but in the end, it's worth it. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Now that we have all those, now I'm going to create a geometry. So, new LOD, properties, geometry. Before I do that, we need to give the memory properties of auto center at 0, and then LOD no shadow at 1, and that is in your memory slot. And we're going to go to geometry, create a box, and we're going to line it up with this revolver. Under surfaces, you can select verticals, and then you can have a little more. You can edit certain ones instead of the whole box, and then it's worked a lot better this way. So just get it around the revolver. There we go. That'll work. Select it all. Go to structure, topology, find component. Give it a property of auto center. Now we're going to copy that component, and I'm going to do a new LOD. Give it fire geometry, paste it, and then a view geometry, paste it. Now we have all of that. I'm just doing a quick little check here. Yep, that's that. Now that that is done, you got all your selections, fire geometry, memories, all that done. You didn't duplicate your first LOD to 0.000. Give it a few. I'll go to about 4.000. Save this as. Go to your folder. And then I'm going to call it sample revolver. Done. Okay, now what we're going to do is get a model config. So what I'm going to do is bring up your material tools. If you don't have them, my episode 1 tutorial will show you how to get them. Go to Eliteness. Now we're going to go to Weapons and find, we're going to go to your P drive. So you're going to go to P, DayZ, Weapons, Pistols, Magnum. Click on the regular Magnum, not the Sun. Double click it. And now, here's a model config. And then, we're going to bring up our Notepad++, or Visual Studio Code, which I use. Paste it. So now what I'm going to do is just clean it up a little. I'm not going to use any of those. And I'm also going to get rid of this animation stuff. So we should be able to read off the vanilla. I'm going to delete these screen stuff like that. And I'm just going to double check this with a model config or something else real quick that I made, just to make sure. Yeah, we can get rid of that whole selection there. There we go. Sometimes even I forget things. All right, now we have all that pasted, edited. I am going to get the model name of my revolver. And I am going to replace it over Magnum. Make sure your selections, you got your ZB Tech, at least, and then I'm going to leave the rest. And I'm going to save this as. I'm going to go put it in the folder with the model. So you're going to save this as model.cfg. Boom. Once you're done that, we start working on the config. So what I'm going to do is piggyback off the vanilla Magnum. So I'm going to go to the Magnum folder again, bring up their config, and I am just going to work from it, and then remember not to save over it, save it as when you're done. I'll show you, well, you'll see in here. So change the names, class name, sample revolver, or whatever you're going to call it. Sample revolver base. Now, this is just, you can change weapon length. It's a little longer, so I'm gonna change it just a tiny bit. You could give it barrel armor. That's good enough anyways. You're not gonna need any of that. This one doesn't have any of that stuff there, so we're gonna remove that. 357. For the ammo, you're just going to want the ammo for this one. It doesn't have a speed loader. And I'm going to change that to 45. So what I'm going to do is get the 45 class name for the ammo. And I'm just going to get that from another pistol. 1911. And just take that class name, because I want this to fire 45. You can have it fire whatever you want. Single sounds. We're gonna leave it the regular sounds for now. We're gonna leave all this alone. All right. Now we're going to go down, change that chambered form. So anywhere that said ammo 357, change it to whatever ammo you choose. Now once you get that, I'm going to leave all this alone. Okay, here we go. Change the class. Sample revolver. Then your base class. Sample revolver base. Give it your display name. And then give it whatever you want for a description. Blah, 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 whatever. All right, now we're going to get the path to our model. So, get the model path. And then get your model name. Now we're going to start doing the RV mat. Damage system. You can change the hit points if you want, make it a little more stronger. I'll give it like 400. Now we're going to give it the paths to our RV mats. I always put it in this all in the data. It's just a force of habit. So I can use the same path for everything. There we go. And there we go. Now, the first two are going to be your regular RV mat. Second two are going to be your damage RV mat. And then the last one will be your destruct. Now, to get rid of this sawed off one, because we're not using that. Get rid of that cylinder base. So I didn't set it like that. Get rid of the ejector and all the proxy stuff. We don't need any of that. So let's get rid of this whole proxy. And then that's that. So now I just do a quick little double check. These are for your muzzles. So if you're doing something with like more than 6, you would have to create a whole nother muzzle down here. So these are your muzzles. You'd have to just create another copy, paste. But that's all we're going to worry about. So now that we have all that, I am going to give this the class name of the Magnum. The vanilla class name. So it will piggyback the animations and stuff that we set. And then that's it. So we're going to file, save it as. Go to your folder, right underneath your data folder this time, not inside of it. Config, .cpp, and save. And now that that's done, we pack it with PBO project. And as always, I go to setup, I delete all my temp. Source folder. Select your mod. Alright, we got an error. So now we're just gonna go. Oh, I see. We're just gonna get rid of a few things here. Just these sounds. Since I'm piggybacking off of it, you don't really need it anyways, and it'll throw errors. You want to keep the sound shot part, but these like dry sounds we don't need. And then the begins we don't need. And then that'll be it. And then we can retry it. I always delete my temps every time before packing. There we go. So then now we're just going to go test it. Alright, now that we are testing in game, I'm going to spawn in my revolver. Make sure it's pristine. Showed up, good. So here it is. It's pretty good. Sits pretty good in the hand. I'm gonna bring in some 45 ammo. So let's bring in some 45. Alright. There we go. The hammer's working good. Pretty much it. Now you got a new revolver. This one's a pretty cool looking one. It's actually a 1850s old revolver. So I think it's a Colt actually. A brave Colt, old Navy model. But anyways, if you have any questions, like always, you can join my Discord and feel free to ask any questions. And thanks for watching. Like, sub for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.